Hi guys, so in this video, ang topic natin is centroid of an area by integration. So when you say centroid, it's also called the center of mass, or it is a point in your area in which it will balance. For example guys, meron tayo ditong square which is a regular shape. By inspection, we can say that the coordinates of the centroid, if this is in the Cartesian plane, you have here a over 2 and a over 2. So 1/2 lang nung length ng sides niya. So it's very obvious here that the center is, or the centroid is at a over 2 and a over 2. So what about if you're dealing with irregular shapes? That's the time when we need to use integral calculus. So, as we recall, ang integral calculus guys, di ba, kaya niyang isolve yung area ng mga irregular shapes. And also, it can solve the centroid of such irregular shapes. So guys, i-introduce ko muna sa inyo yung process of finding the centroid of irregular shape, but it can be divided into regular shapes. For example, here meron tayong T-shape, wherein pwede natin siyang i-divide into two rectangles. So, the total area will be A, the area of this T-shape. So, let's say that the centroid will be at coordinates x bar and y bar. So, you just multiply the area, okay? The area of the whole times the centroid of that total area. Now, we just divide this T-shape into regular shape. We have here two rectangles, so at the top and at the bottom. So let's say, so using these regular shapes, we can easily find its centroid. So if this is a rectangle here, say this is A1 and A2 at the bottom, meron siyang centroid guys. Let's say x sub 1 at the x-axis. So x muna tayo, x sub 1. And you have A2, it also has a centroid represented by x sub 2. Now, the area times the centroid of the whole figure is actually equal to the sum of those regular shape times the centroid of those regular shapes. So, i-add lang natin lahat guys. So, a sub 1, x sub 1 plus a sub 2, x sub 2. This is the principle of finding the centroid. So, for y, the same principle. So, what about for irregular shape? So, how can we solve problems involving the centroid of an irregular shape? So, that's the time when we use integral. But basically guys, yung process natin is the same lang naman. Ito, ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano siya i-derive yung formula natin. Meron tayong curve f of x na let's say ito yung kanyang centroid, x hat and y hat. So, same process guys. So, total area ng figure times yung kanyang centroid, x bar. So, hahatiin lang din natin siya into rectangular strips hanggang sa kumpleto natin yung figure. So, meron siyang mga rectangular strips. So, let's say this is 1, 2, 3, and to several parts hanggang sa makumpleto siya. So, basically, infinite yung vertical strip natin. So, as we recall, ang calculus guys is infinitesimal calculus. And when you are doing integral calculus, you are just adding up those infinitely small strips. That's why ginagamit natin siya when we are dealing with area. So, parang i-divide lang natin yung area of an irregular shape, then ina-add natin siya using integral function. Now, let's say this strip is differential A. Yung differential A1 natin, say that this strip is differential A1, yung centroid niya is at x1, differential A2, x2, plus differential A3 times x3, and so on, hanggang sa makumpleto natin yung figure. Then, this summation guys, inad natin lahat, diba? Inad natin siya lahat. Itong summation na to can be actually expressed the integral function or integral calculus. So, i-simplify natin na mawala na yung mga plus sign or yung summation, lalagyan na lang natin siya ng integral sign. So, the integral of, you have here, in general, yung mga single strip na yon is differential A times X. So, yun na guys yung formula natin. So, i-simplify lang natin. So, ang limit natin is x sub 1 to x sub 2 if you are dealing with vertical rectangular strip. Kasi kung ang dA natin is in terms of dx, of course, yung limit natin is differential of x. So, to simplify, sabihin natin na ang interval ng natin is from x sub 1 to x sub 2. So, therefore, yung centroid x bar is equal to, you have the integral of differential of a times x all over a. So, wag na natin muna lagyan ng limit because yung limit natin, guys, actually depends on your differential of area as we have discussed it before sa previous videos natin. So, balikan natin yung differential strip. So, doon naman tayo sa y-coordinate of our centroid y bar. Now, as we recall, yung differential strip natin, guys, sa taas, nung length niya is tatama siya sa y upper. So, kung ito, guys, is a rectangular strip, therefore, yung coordinate ng centroid ng ating rectangular strip is actually the midpoint. So, yung nasa gitna, because this is just a rectangular strip. So, rectangle shape. So, yung midpoint niya is, we have here y upper plus y lower all over 2. So, we are just getting the average. Okay? So, we just change all those variables in our previous formula. The total area of the figure times y bar is equal to the integral of differential a times y. But y is y upper plus y lower all over 2. So, it is the midpoint. So, usually guys, hindi siya talaga naka-indicate sa mga reviewers. But here, linagay ko na in general kasi yon talaga yung kanyang basic concept. So, hindi siya na-mention in any reviewer. So, basta lang linagay na y over 2. But here, it is y upper plus y lower all over 2. So, to further simplify, we have here y bar is just equal to the integral of differential of a times the quantity y upper plus y lower all over 2a. So, this is our formulas. So, na-derive natin guys yung mga formulas using simple and basic, yung mga fundamental concepts. So, balikan lang natin guys yung previous topic natin, which is yung area by integration. So, kung natin na yung area, so in most problem guys, usually dapat ang kinukuha natin is vertical rectangular strip. So, we have here differential of A. So, it's fine as long as tumama yung strip natin into both boundaries. So, you have here differential of A is length times width. So, rectangle siya, length times width. Yung length niya is y upper minus y lower. So, that is the distance of the length. Y upper minus y lower, and the width is differential of x. Then, to find A, we need to integrate both sides. So, yun na. Lahat ng elements is nandun na siya. You have here the limit. If you are dealing with differential of x, of course, your limit must be in x. If you're dealing with the horizontal rectangular strip, of course, you have here differential of y. So, your limit must be also in y. So, it's important. So, you have here, this problem is, we have a graph or curve y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, f of x, and x is equal to 20. But f of x is just equal to, you have here y, or you have here equals x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x plus 6. So, we need to find the area bounded by this curve, and we need to find the centroid of that bounded area. So, first step guys, of course, is to graph the curve. But in the board exam, no need na guys kung i-graph mo siya. Undergrad, you need to graph the curve para mas makita natin yung itsura or yung detail ng figure. So, i-graph natin siya. Kunin natin guys yung kanyang curvature. So, para makuha natin yung curvature, kukunin natin yung kanyang maxima and minima. So, kunin natin yung y prime. So, y prime equals power formula. You have here 3x squared plus 7 times 2, that is 14x minus 5 plus 0. Differential of constant is 0. Now, we equate y prime to 0 to get the critical points. You have here 3x squared plus 14x minus 5 equals 0. So we can conclude here that we have two roots. So yung two roots na yun, those are the critical points. So you have here, the coefficient A is 3, B is 14, and C is negative 5. So we can use our quadratic formula. Or simplest step or simplest way to solve this is use your calculator, that is mode equation. Now just substitute all those variables. We have here negative b, that is 14, negative 14 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So a is 3 and c is negative 5. So 4 times 3 times negative 5. All over 2 times 3. So that is 6. Now just simplify this, or you can use your mode equation. So mode equation tayo guys. So mode equation, that is 5, and you have here quadratic, that is 3. Then we input the values. So for the coefficient of the variable, so we have here 3, 14, and negative 5. So equals lang. So equals, you have here yung first root natin guys is 1/3. That is x sub 1 is 1/3 and x sub 2 is negative 5. So we have two critical points. So kunin natin guys yung kanyang curvature. So what is the curvature? So what is the maxima and what is the relative minimum point? So kunin natin guys yung y double prime niya. So y prime equals 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. So let's solve for y double prime. So y double prime equals, we have here 6x plus 14. Then we substitute those critical points. So at x is 1/3, so you have a y double prime is equal to 6 times 1/3 plus 14. So this is positive. Okay? So it means that your graph here is concave upward. If you have concave upward, you have here a relative minimum. So 1/3 is a minimum. So what about negative 5? So we verify if it's a maximum. So 1/3 is a minimum, therefore negative 5 must be a maximum. So let's verify. So y double prime is 6 times. So input natin yung negative 5. We have here plus 14. So that will be negative 30 plus 14. So that will be negative 16. So therefore it is a negative. It means that it's concave downward. If it's concave downward, it means that it is a maximum. Therefore negative 5 is a maximum. So i-graph na natin yung curve. So i-determine na natin guys para ma-approximate natin yung graph niya. So 1/3 is a minimum, i-plot na lang natin yung points. So if x is 1/3, what is y? So balikan natin yung function. We have here. So in the board exam guys, no need na to graph this. So in your undergrad, actually you need the complete solution. So you need to graph the figure. And para mas maintindihan natin, kailangan talaga natin siyang i-graph. So i-input natin yung 1/3 dun sa function. So 1/3 approximately 5.15. So in the first quadrant. So at y is negative 5, you have here 81. So that is in the second quadrant. So negative 5, 81. And then the curvature at 1/3 here in the first quadrant is minimum. Therefore, it is concave upward. And at negative 5, you have here concave downward. So you have this graph. So this is the graph of the function. Then i-graph natin yung x is equal to 20. Yung y equals 0, yung x-axis, yung x equals 0, yung vertical, which is the y-axis. Then yung f of x, na-graph natin, and ang kulang na lang is yung x equals 20. So somewhere here. So vertical line siya. So this is x equals 20. So this is f of x. So makita natin guys, ito yung area bounded sa first quadrant. So, ano yung intersection niya? So, yung intersection niya at x equals 20. So, that is 20, 10,706. Para mas ma-visualize natin. So, this is the graph. This is the area bounded in the first quadrant. So, we need to find the centroid of this area. You have here x bar and y bar. So, i-apply natin guys yung formula. So, x bar equals, you have here the integral of differential of a times x from x1 to x2. So, that is vertical rectangular strip all over a. You have the area natin is the integral of differential area. So, kunin natin guys yung differential area. So, kumuha tayo ng rectangular strip. So, that is a vertical rectangular strip. So, yung length ng rectangular strip natin is y upper minus y lower and ang kanyang width is differential of x. And x sub 1 to x sub 2. So, we are sure here na ang limit natin guys is x sub 1 to x sub 2 because we have a differential x. Now, x upper will be f of x. So, it touches the f of x curve. So, y upper is f of x. Then, ang y lower natin actually touches the line y equals 0. So, yung y lower natin actually touches the line y equals 0. Yung x1 natin, yung limit natin, of course, this is from 0. So, from the graph, based on the graph, this is from 0 to 20. So, x sub 1 is 0, x sub 2 is 20. If your differential of a is equal to y upper, that is f of x, and y lower is 0, so, you can say that f of x dx. So, area will be integral of, you have 0 to 20, that is our limit. And yung function of x natin guys is x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x, you have here plus 6. Differential of x. Then, we use power formula. So, area equals, so you have here x all over 4 plus 7x cubed all over 3 minus 5x squared all over 2 plus 6x. Ang limit natin is from 0 to 20. So, we just substitute the limit. So, gamitan natin guys ng calculator. So, in your calculator, you can actually input directly the integral. So, input lang natin yung integral. And equals, you have here, that is 173,360 all over 3. So, that is our area. So, check na yung area. So, x bar will be, you have here differential of a. Differential of a is x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x. So, that is f of x dx. Balikan ulit natin siya. So, that is x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x plus 6. 5x plus 6. So, differential of x. Then, times x based on the formula na na-derive natin kanina. So, times x all over area na nakuha natin, which is 173360. So, area, differential area is check na siya. Yung area is 173360 all over 3. So, x bar is equal to the definite integral of, so yung limit natin 0 to 20. So, i-multiply natin yung x, that is x raised to 4 plus, you have your 7x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x, differential of x, all over yung area. So, the area is 173360 all over 3. So, integrate natin siya guys. So we have here x raised to 5, that is power formula, all over 5. Plus, we have here 7x raised to 4, all over 4, minus 5x cubed, all over 3, plus 6x squared, all over 2. So from 0 to 20. So this is all over 173360, all over 3. So yan, malapit na tayo sa katotohanan guys. So ito na yung answer natin. So integrate na lang natin siya directly. So in the board exam guys, no need to solve this using the manual method. So input lang natin yung integral. Actually, pwede mo na siyang i-input actually directly to your calculator as long as ready na lahat yung mga parameters natin. So you have here 272,3600. This 2,723,600 all over 3. All over, you have here 173360 all over 3. I-simplify lang natin. That is the final answer. So here, our final answer is 15.71 units. So this is approximately 15.7. So that is our final answer. So the centroid, the x-coordinate of the centroid of that area is actually located at x equals 15.71. So we have here our next sample problem. So you have this equation or curve function of x, y is equal to 5 minus x squared. You have here x-axis. So we need to find the centroid of this figure bounded by this two curves. So x squared is equal to 5 minus y. So yung form niya is, so i-simplify natin, ilabas natin yung negative. So magiging siyang negative times the quantity y minus 5. So here we can say that the vertex is at 0 and 5. But y is negative, therefore this must be concave downward. You have here 0, 5. I-plot natin. Just plot the curve. 0, 5. This is the vertex. So, concave downward siya guys. Because y is negative and x is squared. So, it must face the x-axis. So, our centroid must be located here. So, by inspection guys, we can say that x is at 0. So, clear na yun na x is at 0 because if you solve differential of a times x, yung x natin guys is 0 lang naman siya based on this figure. So, nasa gitna na yung x natin. So, what about y bar? So, y bar, yung integral ng differential of a times y. From y1 to y2, if you are dealing with differential y, all over 2a. So, ito guys, y na lang linagay natin because yung nasa baba naman is 0. So, this is the midpoint, y over 2. So, integral of dA. So, yung area is the integral of differential area. So, ito guys, kung mapapansin natin, yung nasa baba ng graph is y is equal to 0. So, differential strip, this is y upper minus y lower times differential of x. Same process lang. Y upper minus y lower. Differential of x. So, ang limit natin guys, since we are dealing with vertical rectangular strip, dun tayo sa x. So, x1 to x2. So, what is the limit? So, the limit is at y equals 0. So, we just substitute in the parabola. What is the value for x if y is 0? So, at y equals 0, you have here 0 equals 5 minus x squared. Therefore, x squared is equal to 5. Then, you have x as plus or minus the square root of 5. So, this is the square root, so the value must be plus or minus. So, we have our limit, negative square root of 5 and square root of 5. So, y upper touches the parabola. So, the y upper is the parabola. So, area is the integral of, you have here 5 minus x squared You have here, yung y lower natin guys, as I mentioned before, kung midpoint ng pagbabasehan natin, 0 lang naman siya. So, it touches y equals 0 sa baba. So, that is minus 0. Differential of x. So, this is the definite integral of 5 minus x squared dx from negative square root of 5 to square root of 5. So, i-distribute natin guys. Then, perform natin yung mga calculus formulas. So, this is 5x from negative 5 to the square root of 5 minus, you have here x cubed all over 3 from negative square root of 5 to positive the square root of 5. So, input natin sa calcu. We have here 14.907. So, i-store natin yun guys. Then, input na natin sa formula. So, lahat ng nakuha natin, input lang sa formula, then automatic, yun na, may answer na tayo. So, we just substitute all those elements. So, differential of A is 5 minus x squared dx. So, balikan lang natin yan because we need to substitute that into our formula. You have here y hat is equal to integral of definite. So, this is 5 minus x squared. So, differential of A is 5 minus x squared dx. But y is yung y upper natin. That is 5 minus x squared. So, actually, 5 minus x squared, y upper plus y lower all over 2. But yung y lower natin is 0 lang naman. So, yung limit natin is negative the square root of 5 to the square root of 5. All over 2a. So, 1/2 nung or yung midpoint niya. So, yung area natin, in-store natin kanina, that is 14.907. Tinimes na natin para maging fraction siya, that is 40 square root of 5 all over 3. Then, i-perform natin yung nasa taas. So, i-simplify lang natin guys yung nasa taas, no? So, we have here the definite integral. So, y bar equals to, we have here limit natin is negative square root of 5 to the square root of 5. So, 5 minus x squared quantity, that is squared. So, differential of x. So, yung nasa taas guys, i-expand natin siya para ma-integrate natin siya. We have here 25 plus 10x squared. So, expand natin yung naka-square sa taas. That is plus x raised to 4. Differential of x. So, all over twice nung area, that is 40 the square root of 5 over 3. So, i-integrate natin. You have here 25x minus power formula 10x cubed all over 3 plus x raised to 5 all over 5. Then, we have this limit negative the square root of 5 to the square root of 5. So, yung limit natin guys, that is negative the square root of 5 to the square root of 5 all over yung twice ng area. So, i-simplify na lang natin guys. So, use natin yung calculator natin. So, using your calculator, yung sa taas natin will be 59.6285. So, i-substitute natin yung limit all over 40 the square root of 5 all over 3. So, yung answer niya is we have here 2. So, therefore, yung centroid natin guys, x bar and y bar, centroid coordinate is at 0, 2. So, that will be our final answer. So, next problem tayo guys. Practice lang ng practice na mag-solve ng problem. You have here x squared equals y and the line y is equal to x. So, you have here guys yung next problem natin, that is x squared equals y and the line y is equal to x. So, i-graph natin siya. So, you have this area na bounded siya sa first quadrant here. So, kunin natin yung strip that is vertical pa rin siya. So, y upper minus y lower. Then, yung width niya is differential of x. So, this is 0, 0. Then, yung intersection dun sa kabila is at y equals x. So, equate lang natin guys yung y sa x. So x squared is equal to x, therefore x is equal to 1. So divide both sides by x. So this is at 1, 1. So differential of a is equal to length times width. We have here y upper. So yung y upper natin guys is yung line y is equal to x. Then yung y lower is yung y is equal to x squared. So differential of x. So this will be our differential area. So input natin yung formula. So this is the integral of dA times x from x1 to x2 all over. You have here yung total area. A. So let's find A. So A will be the definite integral of dA. So we have here x minus x squared differential of x from limit natin 0 to 1. We have here power formula. So x squared all over 2 minus x cubed all over 3 from 0 to 1. This is 1/2 minus 1/3. So input natin guys yung limit. So this will be 1/6. So 1/6 yung area. 1/6 is square units. So input lang natin sa formula. So that is x minus x squared dx times x all over area. That is 1/6. Then simplify natin guys. Makuha na natin yung x bar. So x bar equals, so yung definite integral, multiply natin yung x, that will be x squared minus x cubed dx from 0 to 1 all over 1/6. We have here 6, the integral of x squared minus x cubed from 0 to 1. So x bar equals, you have here 6 times x cubed all over 3, integrate natin, power formula, x raised to 4 all over 4 from 0 to 1. Then input the limit. So x bar equals 6 times, you have here 1/3 minus 1/4. So that is equal to, you have here 1/2 or 0.5. So x bar is 0.5. What about yung y hat natin? So y hat equals the integral of differential area times yung midpoint natin. So yung midpoint natin y all over 2. Yun. Yun ang midpoint natin guys. Y all over 2. But yung area natin is 1/6. Nakuha na natin kanina. So y bar equals, you have here, so yung limit natin guys, kukunin natin siya sa x because yung area natin is with respect to x din, differential of x. So this is from 0 to 1. Ang y upper natin guys, that is x, and ang y lower natin is x squared. So kukunin natin yung midpoint niya. So y over 2 is equal to yung average niya or yung midpoint. So that will be x plus x squared all over 2. All over area na 1/6. So i-simplify lang natin guys. So you have here y bar equals, so the definite integral, that is x minus x squared times x plus x squared all over 1/3 na siya. So 1/3, so itaas natin yung 3, magiging times 3 siya. So 1/3. That is x minus x squared times the quantity x plus x squared differential of x. So y bar equals, so 3 times the definite integral of, so ito guys, so i-simplify natin. We have here x squared minus x raised to 4. So plus minus kasi yung sign niya. So pag in-expand, magiging x squared minus x raised to 4. We have here differential of x. So integrate natin guys, power formula. So this will become, so 3 times, you have here x cubed all over 3 minus, you have x raised to 5 all over 5. So limit natin is from 0 to 1. So substitute yung limit natin. So y bar equals, you have 3 times 1/3 minus, you have here 1/5. So that will become, so that is minus 3 times 0. So 0 lang yung lower limit. So yung y bar natin guys is equal to 0. This is 0.4. So therefore, yung coordinates ng centroid natin is at 0.5 and 0.4. So yung nakuha natin kanina, that is x equals 1 half or 0.5. So this is our final answer. So 0.5, 0.4 is the coordinate of the centroid. So that's it guys. I hope that you have learned from this topic. So yung next topic natin guys is volume by integration. So wait nyo lang guys yung tutorial natin, but yung problem is i-advance post ko na siya dun sa ating Facebook page. Stay safe guys and see you.